Hi guys, I'm Naja. Thank you for tuning into my channel, Get It Got It Good, here on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe, and also don't forget to check out my website, www.nysia.carter.com. See you guys later.
Okay, yeah, good day, yeah, ice on snowflakes, yeah, smile on Colgate, yeah, I'm propane, don't try to put me in no lane, cash out jumping in both lanes, I ain't gotta tell nobody no names, got go house. Okay, yeah, good day, yeah, ice on snowflakes, yeah, smile on Colgate, yeah, I'm propane, don't try to put me.
Hey guys, welcome to Get It Got It Good. I am your host, Naja Wilhite Carter, and as you can see, right next to me is Larry Lancaster.
That comes with the presumption that you guys know who I am, that I'm famous.
So, no, but we were getting to that. Comedian. So if he acts up, don't worry about it. That's just what he do, right?
Yes.
Came in the building today acting up and knowing everybody.
Yeah, I'm a very well known. I'm not famous, I'm well known. And what that means is everybody that knows me, I know them back. See, when you're famous, people that don't know you know you. So.
Or they think they know you.
Right. They know of you.
Yeah. And then they research you and swear.
Distinction, yes.
Indeed. So how does that feel though?
Pretty cool. Only time it's a problem is when people pretend to know you personally. And so I'm a very private person. I try to keep my private life separate from my public life. But yeah, people will pretend that they know you, but people that know you know you. It's an old saying that says those that know don't tell, and those that tell don't know. And that's true.
Have you ever been in any weird situations, like where somebody walked up to you and you're like, wait, hold up, this is kind of creepy?
Well, not necessarily creepy. Creepy is just that because of what I do, because I'm a comic and I'm in hundreds or sometimes thousands of people at a time, people will come and approach me with a familiarity. Mm-hmm. And so I just always try to return that same energy. Even if I may not remember you or know where I know you from, I always try to greet people with the same energy that they give me so they don't feel slighted.
Yeah. So you guys, that is a great technique when it comes to networking as well, is mirroring the image, mirroring the mannerisms and things like that. It's not false. Some people say, well, isn't that being fake? No, It's just matching that energy,
I never wanted somebody to walk away saying, I walked up to him, he acted like he didn't know me. Because I know I'm supposed to know you just based on the energy that you give me. And if it's good, friendly, pleasant energy, then of course I'm going to return that.
Yeah, it's like, why not? Especially because what you do is based on people liking you and wanting to support you.
Exactly. And I think a lot of times as artists or entertainers, we forget that. Like, you're nothing without the people.
So speaking about the people and being an artist or entertainer, what do you feel about role model? Like, is that your responsibility, the parents' responsibility, a little bit of both?
Of course, it's a parent's responsibility, but also when you have a platform and people look at you and they listen to what you say, you definitely have a responsibility as a role model. Now, whether people accept that or live up to that, that's their individual choice. But you have to acknowledge that, because along with privilege comes responsibility. So if you had the privilege of people knowing you monetizing whatever your art is or whatever, you also have a responsibility as to the impact of what that is.
Yeah, most definitely. And, just being responsible. Some people don't feel that way. That's okay. Everybody to each his own, kind of like this.
I just think some people use it as a cop-out because, they don't want to live up or be accountable for the things that you put out.
So Kyrie Irving, right? Mm-hmm. Not getting vaccinated. No. It's put out there. What do you feel if you go and get vaccinated? Some people go, oh, you two-faced, you change your mind. What do you feel about somebody in the eye of the public saying one thing and then going to go change? Because, we all evolve. We all find out new information. We're allowed to change, in my opinion, right? Mm-hmm. But a lot of people feel that pressure and say, okay, I already said this, so I can't go and do something different.
No, I mean, I don't know if he's considering changing his mind. I definitely agree with him on his stance about not getting vaccinated, and I understand why he would make that decision. It's just weird to me how many people said they weren't going to do it, and now everyone's folding, everyone's doing it. And of course, I don't fault anyone for doing whatever they want to do or choose to do with their body, but you shouldn't put pressure on other people. A lot of people, they suck about people who don't get vaxxed, spreading false information. It's really a lot of the people who are vaccinated believing the false information that they're given. You can still spread something. You can still get something. Why should something be mandatory?
I don't like the pressure that we're being put on either.
Right, and the aspect of now you can't be employed. So that's how they get most people that wouldn't get vaccinated to change their minds. And here's the other part: the pharmaceutical companies cannot be sued.
Yeah.
So once you take away that responsibility or that kind of pressure point, why would I want to put something like that in my body? It's hard enough when I am allowed to sue you to get money because you had the resources to tie me up in court, hold me up, and all of these type of things. So if you remove
your accountability,
the accountability for yourself, that means you have no faith in your own product. Right. So why should I?
Right. And I agree with you. I also agree that if somebody do or don't, that's their decision. And just like if somebody want to get the flu shot every year, we don't go around stabbing people and shooting them and all kinds of stuff.
A lot of people don't. I don't. And but to answer your question about Kyrie, if he changed his mind, I mean, you have a right to do that. The same way he could say, I'm not getting vaxxed. One day he could wake up and decide for whatever reason that means something to him. He could decide, okay, I changed my mind. Yeah. And he's allowed to do that.
So comedy, you guys, we have to get into comedy because this is what this man does best. That's what you do, but we have to take a break. So you guys stay with us. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back, you guys. I am sitting next to Larry Lancaster, comedian. You've been in comedy how long?
About 21 to 22 years.
Really? So how did you get started?
I actually comedy is something that I was doing all my life, but I never thought I could be a professional comedian. So people have been telling me, man, you're funny, you could do this, and I never thought I could be funny professionally. And so one day, about 22 years ago, I went to an open mic at the Latin Palace, and I had a friend of mine who was a guy I used to work with named Paul Tenson. He passed, rest his soul, but a good friend of mine, and we were looking for something to do on a Tuesday night. And so we go into this place, we see a great comedy show. They had a very small crowd. It was a real intimate setting. And I walked up to the two comics. One guy was Stacy Carver, and another one was Jake Phillips, and my comedy mentors. And I asked them, I said, hey man, this show was great. I want to make people feel like you guys made me feel tonight. And they said, well, listen, you're in luck. In 2 weeks, we're having a variety competition. Take these tickets, sell them. This will be your registration fee. And then you can try comedy for the first time. So I got all my co-workers to go with me. I was actually working at Baltimore County Detention Center at the time. And so, being a clown, cracking on my co-workers in the break room and stuff like that, they came and fully supported me, like 20, 30 deep.
Okay.
And they were like, you always cracking on us. You better be funny. And so I actually still was afraid to do it. And I was trying to think about how to get out of it because it's frightening. And I'm telling this story because there's someone out there who wants to do it, and they're afraid, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to get on the other side of it.
And
So
do it anyway.
What I told myself was, if you're going to be cowardly enough not to do this, you should never tell another joke again. And that's how I pushed myself to do it. Got on stage, I did it, was on stage for like 7 minutes, and I won. And I've been doing comedy ever since. Got a stand ovation my first time on stage.
7 minutes is an eternity on stage to talk, you guys. It may not seem long, but trust and believe it's an eternity. And I love the fact that you said you were afraid to do it. Most of the time, you're going to be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. You have to do it or you'll never get to your dreams.
I was so afraid to do it. I was thinking about falling backstage and pretending that I was injured just so I wouldn't have to go through it. That's how afraid I was. And I actually ended up doing 12 minutes because I was only supposed to do 7. And in comedy, when your time is up or they want you to wrap up, they give you the light from the side of the stage. But I was so new, I didn't even know what they were telling me. Right. I thought they were taking a picture of me or something when I saw the light. But yeah, that was my first time on stage.
So what's also interesting about the story that a lot of people who are artists don't want to do is sell tickets. If you're new, you don't have the following yet, you have to pay your dues one way or the other. Yes. And one of the ways of doing that is bringing people to the show. Why is somebody going to pay you when you're not even putting butts in the seats? So they're going to be out. And it's a business. It's about making money. They're not going to make money on bringing you in. So you better bring them money in order to get on. Then you can build your following, which you've done. So now you're all over the place in the DMV and where else? Everywhere.
That's a very good point that you brought up because I mentor a lot of younger comics, and they always complain about having to sell tickets. And I break it down to them like this. If you went to learn about any profession, 9 times out of 10, there's a charge. If you go to college to be a doctor, a lawyer, whatever, you may have to pay $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a semester. Your education may cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. If someone comes to you and say, listen, for you to learn the business, for you to learn how to be a comic, for you to get your foot in the door and create a following, as you said, all you have to do is sell this amount of tickets. That's your tuition. That's how you look at it. I'm learning, I'm growing, and I'm learning how to build a following and a base. So that's really a small price to pay when you look at it from that perspective. And
you're also gaining skills that you'll need: sales, marketing, self-promotion. Those are all things you need in any business, especially in one where you're going to be in front of people and they're going to pay you for your services.
Right.
You guys got to go do it.
Right.
So are there any other comedians that you look up to, aspire, or learn from?
Of course, the greats, Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Chris Rock, Chappelle, Lenny Bruce, Whoopi Goldberg, when she used to do her one-woman specials, Monique. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, but a lot of the people who influenced me the most are people that if I said their names, you probably wouldn't even know who they were. But yeah, I was a student of comedy before I ever did comedy. I used to study, I used to get videotapes, I used to watch comedy all the time, Seinfeld, and different types and different genres of comedy too. From slapstick to, real intellectual, cerebral comedy, Stephen Wright and stuff like that. I just always try to, now since I've been doing comedy professionally, I really don't watch comics because what happens is you can end up stealing someone's material and not even know that that's what you're doing. So when you're an artist, you have to be careful what you take in because eventually that's going to come out. So if I go watch a comic, 2 years from now, I'm doing a bit and it might fit with what I'm writing, that idea will pop in my head and I may not even remember where I got it from. And I'll just write it or add it and thinking I'm coming up with something that's original or from my own train of thought. And it may be something that I saw Chris Rock said 2 years ago. So you have to kind of do a good job of staying relevant, learning and knowing what's out there, but also filtering yourself.
So first of all, what you put in will come out. That's with anything. So stop putting garbage in your head because garbage is going to come out.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Yes. Second of all, you got to continue learning. A lot of people stop learning, they stop reading, they stop educating their mind once they get out of school. You guys, you got to elevate. You got to think on a next level. In order to do that, you got to continue to learn in your profession, even if you're in there. So great stuff, right? I know people always say, Nysia, why you did? You guys, this is what it's all about. And you're local. You're from here.
Yes.
We're in Baltimore, you guys.
Baltimore. I'm actually from Douglas Projects, East Baltimore. That's where I was born and raised. And so, real rough part of town. Real, and a sense of humor was necessary. So that's how we cope. That's how we, you learn how to kind of divert violence. If you had a sense of humor, you had to learn how to be quick with your words and be quick with your mouth. So that it was a skill. It started out as a defense mechanism and it turned into a skill. And so I figured out how to monetize it.
Great. And a lot of the times people don't understand how so many people can come out still mentally sane or somewhat together. You guys, I'm not all there. I think most of us are not, but there's these coping mechanisms that you deal with. And how come everybody that I get from Baltimore, most of y'all are from East Baltimore?
I don't know. There's a lot of talent in Baltimore, period.
Yeah.
And I don't want to slight West Baltimore because I don't subscribe to that East versus West type of thing. But yeah, there's so much talent in Baltimore.
So why do you think talent in Baltimore is not getting the attention, not doing, national levels? Because there's so much talent here. If everybody pulled together, you guys, Baltimore could be on a map just like, Atlanta or Florida or LA or someplace.
Right. Well, it's one thing to have the talent, but then you have to have the adjacent and associated disciplines to talent. So it's like, okay, let's say you're a great actress, but if you don't have playwrights and, producers and directors, then how good of an actor can you really be if you don't have those associated disciplines? You don't have cameramen, you don't have people behind the camera, you don't have producers, people to greenlight your projects. And so that's the problem that Baltimore has. Although we have a lot of talent, you have to leave and be around the kingmakers, the people. Well, social media has kind of changed that, but you still have to go to like a major market. And so if you don't have the agents and people who can open those doors for you and get you in front of the right people, then
it's kind of rough.
Yeah, it's rough.
So in order to get those agents, you guys, is networking. But I always say talent gets you so far.
There's also have to be an intentional and concerted effort on people to not just be talent.
Yeah.
So if you got a lot of talent here, where are the people who could produce? Where are the people who want to be agents and those people? So you need those people to kind of propel the
Step
talent.
up. Yeah.
Right.
I'm always preaching, know the business behind the business, because a lot of times people think, oh, I can sing real good, that's all I need to do. No, you got to know the business, you got to know the people, you got to know the contracts, you got to know those things in order to put all the pieces to the puzzle together.
Right.
So that's like part of it as well. There are people here, it's just a matter of, like you say, opening those bigger doors and getting around the right people.
And it seems like the people who are from Baltimore and become successful, I don't necessarily see them reaching back.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why that is. It would be nice if that changed.
You knew I was going
to
ask that.
At the same time, you can't depend on other people to kind of push you along. You have to do it yourself. But you see other people do it in other cities. Like you had the guys from down south. Like perfect example when you had what's my man Eminem. He put he's from Detroit, right? He put Detroit on the map. Or you have like a Ludacris or a T.I. and those guys, Outkast, and they put Atlanta on the map musically. So who's going to do that for Baltimore comedically? Like I don't see people doing it.
Well, even like with Drew Hill, people say, "Oh yeah, from Baltimore," but it seemed as though DC gave Drew Hill more love than Baltimore. Do you think that's a mentality thing? You think that's a perception that is not true? People
say that, and I hear people say that about comedy, and they say like Baltimore is considered like a city with crabs in a bucket. And I don't like to, because everyone's perspective is their own.
Yeah.
But from my perspective, I've received a great deal of love and support, and positive encouragement. Now, what I will say is that it's a hard city to kind of establish a following consistently, especially for a different age group. Like I'm a little older, so my comedy is not necessarily geared to millennials or 20 or 30-year-olds. Not saying that I can't make them laugh, but like if I have a night and I need people to come and see me and support me, generally speaking, it's a 40, 50-year-old audience. And I like to talk to that audience because to me, comedy is about life experiences. So if your life experiences are limited, you may be limited as to what you find
relate to, yeah.
And so it's kind of hard to get that type of support consistently where people are going to show up for you. But I really have no complaints because I've received really, for the most part, a lot of love.
So Baltimore has shown me love as well. Also, you know, DC, Virginia. I don't have complaints either. Like I like my connections in Baltimore.
Right.
But we're talking about having a following and translating that into money. But you guys, before we talk money, we'll be right back.
So we're here today at the Black Gates in the community of Harlem, specifically Foster Projects, to show love to the hood. And Belchez is from this neighborhood. We like to call him the art dad of Harlem because he has been instrumental in the creative lives of so many people that a lot of people know today, and just the community in general.
Waz is the one who planted the seed for what the artwork should look like by simply just saying, what would you want to see as a kid if you looked out the window every single day? What would you want to see? What message would you want to put forth? And that changed my whole creative process. This is testament for community.
Is it real, son? Is it really real, son? Is it really real, son? Is it really real? Tell me how you feel, son. Tell me how you feel, son. Tell me how you feel, son. Tell me how you feel.
You rappers got nothing for me. One sound wave record me. Every MC I'm sure to rip them. I guarantee you.
Welcome back, you guys. We're about to talk money. I love talking money. I love talking money. You know, because that's how you put food on the table, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as a comedian, how does that work? Do the venues, the promoters, ticket sales, like how does that work when it comes to putting money in your pocket?
It's a combination of things. Generally speaking, I'm generally kind of like an independent contractor, like a hired gun. Someone to say, hey, I want to put on a show. I'd like you to headline it, host it, or whatever. And then what would you charge it? Then I'll tell them what I would need for that to happen. And then we either agree or disagree and we make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Some people start, I notice a lot of the younger comics do this. They start out doing their own shows and producing and doing those things. So it seems like the younger comics, even though they don't take the time to learn the aspect of being funny, I appreciate the fact that they kind of jump right into the business aspect of it, and they take more of an independent approach, and I appreciate that. And so, and I respect and admire that, because that's kind of taking your destiny into your own hands. They also are more social media savvy, and of course, they learn how to monetize that quicker, and they use it to gain more of a following. But along with the following, you still have to perfect the craft.
Right.
And so sometimes they master one part of it and they don't master the other part of it. And then for the older comics like myself, we master the art part of it, but not necessarily master the monetization part of it, the business part of it. So you got to kind of learn how to do both.
It would be cool for an older comic and a younger comic to team up and put on a production, because then you draw both crowds, cross market.
Yeah, but and that's a good point. But it's important that each side sees the value of one versus the other.
Yeah, it's like a partnership.
It's a partnership, and you have to understand that. Okay, the younger comic understands social media, they understand the marketing and all of that, because that's the era that they came up in. So they can teach me that part of it, and then I can teach them the craft part of it.
So today we have all these issues. I mean, we always have issues. Is comedy harder now with, because I used to roll on the floor with some black, white, Asian type of
like
jokes.
the cancel culture?
Yeah. What you can say, COVID, like all these like no things, which can be very funny.
It could be difficult if you subscribe to that.
Okay.
Now, the key to any art, the key to being an artist is you're supposed to push those boundaries. You're supposed to do and say things that make people uncomfortable so that you provoke thought. It's not just entertain people. It's also artists, true artists are people who make you think, make you look at different perspectives. And that's the beauty of a Dave Chappelle or Chris Rock or someone of that ilk. Even before him, Richard Pryor, people just remember Richard Pryor from cursing, but Richard Pryor was one of the first comedians to do a lot of social satire and racial commentary, and it made people think while they were laughing. And that's why it's important. Even musically, like you listen to a lot of the music, we're not really doing that. You know, everything is, I got the money, the Versace era, the Versace era, and you know, I'm selling drugs, and I'm, you know, I do it to your girl backstage. It's all this crazy stuff. But we're the artists that make you think, I like J. Cole, I like Kendrick Lamar, I like Big Sean, because to me, those are the artists that kind of do that and still stay true to their art form. But I kind of forgot the question because it went off on the right.
Harder.
Oh yeah. So I don't know if it's harder. I guess I can see why people would say that, because you say one thing, especially if you say something about the LGBTQ community or whatever, then people want to cancel you. I don't really look at that. I don't go out of my way to offend people, but I'm not going to go out of my way not to offend you.
Yeah, because then you're censored and you can't be true to yourself.
Right. And you can't push the envelope, you can't be true to your art, and you can't grow if you always want to be safe. Yeah.
What's your end game?
That's a good question, because there was a time when I wanted to be, I thought success would look like a Kevin Hart to me. Mm-hmm. And Kevin Hart is wildly successful, and he's taking comedy commercially where no one has taken it. And a very nice guy too. Mm-hmm. But for me, that's not really my end game any longer. I'm more of, you know, growing older, and of course not blowing up like a Kevin Hart. You kind of reevaluate things, mm-hmm. and you had to make certain sacrifices. And so I chose to be a dad. You know, I chose to be here for my son. I chose to, you know, do things a little differently, as opposed to just leaving them blowing up and then coming back trying to make it up to them. But my end game is really just to be looked at as a good, decent person. And whether that's has anything to do with comedy, you know, that's someone else's opinion. Mm-hmm. I've mentored enough young comics to know that I'm respected and admired in the game.
And that you'll leave your mark.
Yeah, and mm-hmm. that's how you leave your mark, by giving back to it. Mm-hmm. And the people, where have you said that encouraged somebody? Where have you said that someone has taken with them and it helped them be a better comic,
so you're
a better
teacher.
Artist? Yeah, a mentor, so to speak. And so that's the kind of role that I didn't seek that role out. That's kind of like organically, that's where it happened. Because I don't think you can come to somebody and say, let me mentor you. I think people will seek you out for that. And they do that based on how you show up. How you show up in life. Okay, this is someone that I respect and admire, so they can be an example to me. Mm-hmm. What can I learn from them? So even though I haven't made it like other people would think that I should have, the comics see something that's of value. Yeah. And so I appreciate it.
So I was talking to Brittany Ng. She played on BET. What is the show? I can't even think of it right now. Sorry, guys. Go back and look. But she was saying, as an actress, there are a lot of actresses who make a great living who you wouldn't necessarily know as a household name. Right. So in the artistic realm of things, you can make great money and be successful and be home every night. See, I'm a mom too, hence the reason I came out of the industry until my kids got older, right? So it's a balance, and to each his own.
And the industry is a very difficult place to be in. It's a very evil place, and you have to decide what you're willing to give up, what you're willing to sacrifice to do it. Because it's not, I mean, if it was easy, everybody would be a star. Everybody would be a mega success. And it just doesn't work that way. And the people who don't blow up, so to speak, it isn't because they're not talented or they don't have what it takes. It's just a matter of, sometimes people have bad habits. Sometimes people have things that hold them back. Sometimes people are just not willing to risk or sacrifice certain things to me. So it's a combination of things.
So there's a difference between success and fame as well,
and happiness.
Right? Happiness doesn't come in the form of a dollar bill. Even though I'm always preaching, money gives you options. Right. And so I'm an advocate, and it's necessary for life.
You don't want to be a struggling artist.
But you got to also have priorities and boundaries and ethics and morals and things like that.
And think about it. A lot of the people who have made it, they had nervous breakdowns. They went crazy after they made it and were wildly successful. So at what point, what happens to them where success is harder than the struggle to be successful?
Right. the pressures.
Right.
You know what I
You have
mean?
to ask
And
yourself
so mental health, I don't know, a whole nother topic in conversation. But Larry, how do people find out about your show, subscribe,
Okay, I'm gonna
support?
tell them about my radio show, which I'm extremely proud of. I host a radio show every Saturday. It's called Throwback Saturdays with Larry Lancaster and Mike Nice. It airs on 88.9 WEAA, and you can go to WEAA.org if you want to listen on your radio, on your phone or your streaming device. And it's from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. And we play great throwback music. We play everything from 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way up into the 2000s. And I even play some current stuff too, because there are current artists that I like, and I think they should be, showcased. And so we also entertain, educate, and inform. And so that's the show. If you want to follow me, keep up what I'm doing, you can reach me on all social media platforms. Comedian Larry Lancaster.
I'm all about education and informing people as well as entertaining.
Yeah.
So you guys, I always like to interview people who start like your next door neighbor or where you've been and are doing something in the community successfully. So to showcase how you can get from point A to point B, and you don't have to start off knowing, Tom, Dick, and Harry. You don't have to start off having millions of dollars or sugar daddy or mama or something. You can do it on your own with the right mindset, motivation, continually learn and find a mentor, put it on yourself, know the business behind the business, all that good stuff. But as always, you guys, I cannot go without saying thank you to my sponsors. Dance Solutions Youth Outreach, One Man Sharpens Another, Favor One, Merlin Prep Academy, Nothing But Love for Y'all. And also my networks, WBGR, Total Entertainment Radio, DMR, and Power 904, Nothing But Love for Y'all. Larry, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Green. I appreciate you.
No problem. And you guys, until next time, peace out.
Okay, yeah, good day, yeah, ice on snowflakes, yeah, smile on Colgate, yeah, I'm propane, don't try to put me in no lane, cash out jumping in both lanes, I ain't gotta tell nobody no names.
Thanks for watching, you guys. Don't forget to tune in at NysiaCarter.com and be sure to like and subscribe this channel. Get it, got it good. See you guys next time.
Go house.